Welcome back to day 14 of our chess journey to 2000 ELO on chess.com. Just wanted to start off today by saying I've not been all that good at responding to comments for the last few days. I've just been having really long days, and hopefully that slows down a bit, and I will get back to responding a bit quicker. I do still have to emphasize, though, I do read and I will eventually respond to, as I've always done, each and every comment you guys come with. For the second thing, we had this poll a while ago about a Discord channel. I wasn't really contacted about the creation of the channel. So if one of you guys want to send me an email, perhaps, if you're interested in moderating the Discord channel, please feel free to do so, and we could have a talk. I would prefer possibly long-time commenters, or at least subscribers, but if you've got the qualifications, then definitely doesn't matter. Anyways, let's just jump ahead and find our game today. We're at 1551 today. Not our first time being 1551. I think we might have been at this rating 1, 2, or 3 times actually. A Sicilian. We're playing as Ayata from Turkey. Got a bit caught off guard there by the name. Do we get a Night Earth? Could still see this rather. But now it's apparently not called the Night Earth. I guess because this might be the thing. The queen can take perhaps, but then I think that's not all that bad. We want to take here either way. This seems to transpose, and this I think is just a Night Earth. Just a bit of a different move order. This is played. Our options here are this or this. I think we'll be coming up with the pawn here and coming up to e7 with our bishop. This is the most common variation as far as I'm aware in this Night Earth. Let's come up this way. This bishop doesn't really worry us as we've got 2 pieces defending the pawn. Let's target the bishop. Comes back. Do we have this? Not quite, I don't think. I wanted to have the option here of pushing 2 times perhaps or something. Don't quite see it here though. Do we have this though? Preparing to get this move on the next move. Targeting this and also targeting this. Because this comes with tempo. Then the bishop has to move probably here, and then we could go here. Targeting this and this. Most likely to defend both of the pieces, or both of the pawns here. I think our opponent might play this, preparing to maybe push for this and go for a queenside castling attack. I do still think this is a decent idea though. Taking some space and playing with tempo. Just wanting to double check. It's not always a good idea for me to do so because some of my double checking has taken a lot of time recently, but sometimes we find some really nice stuff that can end up turning the games around. But let's just go for this. Apparently we're in a Sosin attack in the Sicilian here, transposed away from a Night Earth into whatever this is. Yeah, f3 is on the board. Do we have d5 here? 1, 2, 3 pieces defending. We've got 1, 2. Yeah, let's try and count here for some reason. That's difficult. We might delay this move. I think to connect the queen with a rook here along the back rank and just get our king safe. And then we could play this move maybe. Although it might invite this move, which could restrict us a bit. We'll have to see. We get this and force the knight away. I would like to have a look at whether we have the option here of sacking and opening up stuff, which might be good for us, potentially. Might not be good in this particular position, but maybe in another one. The queen comes up, seems to be an indication of this being quite likely to be played at least, but now we can't take here. But we could launch the pawns though. Could definitely launch the pawns. Let's maybe try to play a bit slower, is what I'd like to say here, but maybe coming up with a knight instead. But do we want to go here and get this? Or do we want to come out this way, where we could come up to e5? Or we could even go here immediately. Trade off the pawn before rather it's backed up by another rook here by means of castling. So let's have a look at this. If this is played, we go here, this, and this doesn't look bad, I don't think. So I think this might be our time to push the pawn, and if this is played, yeah, I think this is what I don't like here, because our bishop here becomes weak, and we have to move the knight. So maybe not. Instead, I guess, we might want to trade off our opponent's active knight on d4 for our own. Or we could come up this. Oh, this looks good. This is a maneuver I did not consider. So I think this might be good here. We've got a lot of options. And now if this is played... Oh well, we could be taken either way as long as we don't push. Yeah, let's come to this square. I think this looks better than this here, which could have been played, I think. But this seems a bit more accurate, perhaps. Curious to see here if there is ever a move like sacking on this square. I don't think there is for the time being, but importantly here our bishop is moved away from c8 and the knight now blocks where we defended this pawn. Now, do we have this? Most likely there. What's this going to look like? We could see this and this. Which could be interesting. This might become a threat. The queens would be staring each other down. Honestly, I think I like this. I definitely think I like this. We connect the 3 pawns here. We might push 1 pawn up to this square, which is a threat of it trapping the bishop even. So this comes with a lot of poison, I think. Our opponent might have to play here, which it's not a bad move, but our opponent has to find it, and I think this is just a slight improvement for us. So let's go for it. Has to be noted here though, yeah, the queen can just move, and our opponent might want us to take this. This, and the rook opens up. But that's not a problem, I don't think. Might even be good for us. Because this pawn here isn't going to be threatened as long as this bishop is here, because a rook doesn't want to trade off for a pawn and a bishop. This. Could we push here? Maybe. But then there is this once again, which I do not like still. Would like to get our rooks into the game here, although it does not necessarily have to happen immediately. is this. No, that's not a move. It loses this, but I like the idea of trying to trap the bishop, although it's not playable just now. Just yet. We could just avoid it capturing as well. We could take this whenever we would want to. And at the same time here, our opponent's dark squared bishop is more valuable and more open than this bishop, which is kind of blocked off by our pawns. So following that logic, I think let's just move another piece, just develop our position or improve. Is this a move? This could be interesting. And then this doesn't work. It might force our opponent to castle kingside, which would be good for us, I think, to avoid getting rushed by the pawns. But then it's going to take away a defender of the pawn here. But we could replace this with a rook, which would be a much better piece to have there. Yeah, I think we'll be coming up with a queen here. Our queen can't get easily targeted, I don't think, and I like the activity. There might be some ways here of trading queens, which might not favor us per se, at least not the isolated queen trade in and of itself. But there might still be something good there. I just want to open up our rooks here to get into better positions. Didn't want to go here and kind of pin ourselves. That looked kind of bad. This now is definitely an idea, after which this and this is playable. Would have to come up with an idea in that position. Oh well. I didn't quite consider this. I guess there is this configuration down here with the queen and bishop, threatening to capture here and open up our position. And with the pawn as well, could get quite scary. But this forces immediate stuff because it's a fork as well as a capture. So this versus this, so it doesn't lose the rook. This. We might have some way here of playing this and getting some activity down here. Might not be the best move immediately, but it's probably something we might be thinking about, I think. I think we'll be taking here first anyways. This is first, I think. It's played. Okay. Now this pawn on h6 is maybe an issue. Do we come here? Then there is this, but that's not a problem, I don't think. And if the bishop comes here, we could go to this square maybe, defending the bishop, targeting our opponent's bishop. I think we'll be going here so as not to allow whatever is going to happen in this position, which looks a bit scary. We've got a couple of pieces here. As I mentioned, this might open up this horizontal defense by our queen. And this diagonal here might be looking good at some point, quite soon. Can't quite go here though, because of the knight. At least not for the time being, we can't. This pawn might be hanging in some cases if this bishop is traded off for this. But I think we'll just start off by going here. Our opponent doesn't have a light squared bishop, so I don't think we're under too much pressure here. This is still kind of annoying because our opponent might want to open up and target our king. But this is played. Okay. Honestly, I can't tell if this is good or not. Do we go here maybe? It's an interesting idea, at least. This looks interesting as well. At least I was going to say so, but this is still defended by this, so we don't win any rooks or anything. So I don't see any tactics here which wins a lot, but this I think might kind of prevent some pawn pushing if this is played. Yeah, I'm not all that worried there. This, we have this. This. We can take with the knight, I think. And we could get in some way, maybe. I think we'll be pushing here. This might not be the correct move, but I think it looks good. Might be an overreaction, not quite sure. Sometimes it's difficult to evaluate if a move like this is an overreaction or not, but I think this is probably okay. I was looking at this potential intermediate move, but this pawn is pushed. Okay. This is a move I didn't quite consider, but potentially if we get this pawn structure afterwards, it might not be bad at all. Do we go here now maybe? Reposition to this square, looks quite strong. Yeah, let's do so. This doesn't work, I don't think. We just take the pawn. This is a bit too passive, so let's come to this square here, which looks quite promising. Importantly here, the rook doesn't open up, at least not yet. This, and I don't see our opponent's follow-up move here. The knight can't quite jump in anywhere. This can't sacrifice for anything either, I don't think. So we're just stopping the pawn pushing here, which is fantastic. And for our next move, I think we'll be jumping in with the knight. Targeting this, it's quite weak. We can't quite come here because of the pawn, but we'll have a look here and see if we get some options for good maneuvering. So I think our opponent just killed off their play on the queen side, at least for the time being. I don't see a way to make progress here with the pawn stuck like this. So now I think we are in the driver's seat, potentially. This pawn knight here still kind of paralyzed because of the potentially queen trade we might see. Now let's have a look at this first. Obviously the pawn here is the target. Does this accomplish anything more? This could be played to defend maybe, or never mind, doesn't defend the pawn at all. Yeah, I think I like this. Our knight there doesn't get targeted easily, and let's say this knight moves and this is pushed, we might even have this, which might be a good outpost, I think. So let's just jump in here. I don't see a good argument against doing so. Now this has to be defended. Our bishop here is still a beast, potentially. We could get the rooks to those squares, and I'm liking what I'm seeing. That's for sure. We don't want to play this. Opening up here isn't going to help us. It's just going to expose our king to potential bad stuff. Our queen is feeling a bit offside now. I don't quite love it. The pin is dodged. Realizing now if we play here, we might win this, which might cause the pawns here to fall apart, potentially. So let's have a quick look at this and then realize it allows for this, which might not be what we intended. So then instead maybe we could go here. Oh, this looks good. Yeah. This is just an open scope towards the king. pinning the knight. This maybe is probably a good move. But then I think we can just pile on pressure here towards the king, which looks quite promising. So let's start off like this. Yeah, the king does move over. Do we come here maybe? We can't come all the way up. Just want to make sure there is no tactic here which could just win us the game or something, but I'm not quite seeing it. So potentially this, or we could want to double. So let's have a quick look at what happens if we move the rook on over here. I think it's probably going to be doing a better job on the C file, because I don't see a lot of progress on the D file, and I think this pawn here might even be good for us to keep there for the time being. Let's come up here, I think. Our opponent does not have bishop to b6. Just trying to make sure here there is no bishop b6 sequence of moves, but ooh. One thing I realized now is our queen is suddenly looking kind of semi-trapped, because this escape route has been cut off. And that's not what we like to see. So now we have to be really careful of, well, this doesn't quite work to them because this is possible to go to them, but potentially there might be some ways of setting up some attacks against our queen, which honestly scares me a bit. This is becoming quite tactical, I have to say here. This knight, could it jump anywhere? Not forwards at least. This is prepared by our opponent. Not a big surprise, so let's come here maybe, taking away this. Or is there this now? And I don't see a way of making it work, it just seems like we're sacking material for nothing. Which might not be true, there might be something there, but not anything I'm seeing at least. So let's defend our pawn there. We don't have to worry too much about our bishop being blocked up then, or being blocked off rather, because it currently doesn't serve an immediate purpose. It's more a matter of if and when things open up. There's no way here of targeting this rook, I don't think, which is why I went for the move. Because if there was like some kind of knight jump, for instance, like a knight could jump to this square, then it could become difficult to play because we could get kind of squeezed. So this move might be coming, intending to go here and displacing our rook. In which case we'll have to find out what we do there. But honestly, we might just go here even, and if this is played, we might come up now because the rook is not on c7 anymore, so it's not an immediate fork. This is a difficult position. The knight does come back, but I don't see the threat as I mentioned. We can just come here and this. Oh, I might have missed something here at least. Because if we go back here, then this becomes a problem once again, so we can't escape with the rook. So this might honestly force us to go here, but that might not even be all that bad, to be honest, because of our pressure towards the king, allowing us to maybe sack the rook for the knight and pawn, and maybe more material. But this is played. Didn't quite consider this as an option. I don't know if I honestly, I don't know if I should have. Can we go here now? Intending to go this way maybe, or maybe back here. This targets the queen, so it's an immediate threat there. Oh, never mind. There's this, so don't mind me. Just spewing out random moves, which make no sense, I guess. Now this is defended as well by this knight, so not an option. Our time here is looking a bit awkward. Let's maybe come back with the queen there. I don't like how it's looking a bit exposed. This, and we'll take, doubling our pawns, but I don't think this is a bad doubling of pawns for us, as those pawns here are controlling important squares. And they're not incredibly easy to target, I don't think. This might be an idea. And now we've got 3 pieces staring down here. It's currently well defended, but that might change at some point. At least it's pressure in our favor. This bishop, it's honestly not doing a whole lot. Don't quite love what it's doing, or well, the lack of what it's doing. It's unrealized potential, at least. This move, I don't think we can go here, because I think our bishop, or knight rather, might get trapped there. We can't easily escape. It might be good, but it might also be bad. Might allow our opponent to force us to lose the knight there and open up some stuff, like this maybe. We might have this now because of this being a move. Now this hits this pawn and it hits this, but our opponent can just take here, I guess. And that's not ideal. We have this now, but it doesn't do a whole lot. This. How about coming in this way? This might be good here, but there is this, but no, never mind. There might not be the move. I think this gives us decent activity. The knights can't target the rook, and the bishop can't either. Three moves away from targeting the rook. Oh wow, our opponent's just pushing pawns in front of the king, which I think is daring, to say the least. This looks quite daring. And now I think... No, we can't go here because of this move. Is there this? I don't think so. Our time is running out, so we'll have to make a move. I think we'll push this pawn. Maybe activate our bishop here. Could get into a good position. We're below 1 minute. Our opponent has got 10 minutes. I think we're probably winning on the board, but the clocks kind of tells a different story, I have to say. It's not all that easy to play with 55 seconds, but we'll have to manage with our increment here. So ideally, I think we would like to simplify at this point, considering the time situation. But we'll have to see if we're able to do so. This would be a nice move to see, just allowing us to go for the fork. Not likely to happen though, not likely at all. This, and we'll take with the queen. I feel like this has to be bad in some way. I can't quite put my finger... I can't quite tell what's the best way for us to respond here. But we might have to come back though. And lose a pawn maybe. Like this. I don't see a good move as an alternative, at least, considering our time situation. We'll have to look at it in the analysis here afterwards. Our opponent is going to get in here. They forced us to block off this. But the king is looking weak for our opponent. I don't think we have this. Annoyingly, we can't quite take here because the queen is in the way for us, or our queen is in the way. This, and this hangs. I think we'll still go for it. The reason here I'm saying we'll go for this is because we can slide over, go here maybe, and this stays defended. And we remove the tension where we could have lost a pawn very easily. Don't think this is good. If it's played, I think we'll just be sliding on in here maybe. I really want to take here, but it's unfortunately not possible for the time being, I don't think, because of our queen having to trade itself off if we do so. This will go here. 27 seconds is not a lot of time. It's pushed. I didn't consider this at all. Wow. Yeah, I don't think we have time to think about it. This might be playable. It seems our opponent has even calculated it, but yeah, I didn't see an alternative here with our time situation. But as I mentioned, I don't think it's necessarily all that bad. The pawns are weak for our opponent as well. Oh, this is played. Do we have this? No, because this is a move. How about going here, threatening to trade queens? I think it's about our only move. If this is played, we might slide back. I can't find moves. Let's go here, hoping it's a decent idea. It might come with the threat of going here. As now, this, and the queen takes. Might be good. There might be this though. Let's go for it. I don't think we have the luxury here of not doing so because of the time situation. But I think this pawn might even win us the game here if we have the chance to go for it. We get a mass simplification here. We'll just be taking. This might be pushing. This is hanging. This bishop might open up. This queen a bit offside. Is this a move? I think we could just ignore it and push this pawn maybe. Or even go here, might be an option. And if this is played, this is a check as well. Or this is defended. How about we push? Oh, we have this maybe. Let's come up. We'll go here, I think. If this becomes a threat. Now mate in 1. And we threaten to take here as well. I don't see a check for our opponent if we just take here. Or this maybe. I don't see a strong follow-up though. This, we might even be able to go here. Maybe we should have not taken here though. At least with the king. I think taking with the pawn was better. So this might have been a mistake, played a bit too hastily. This, how about coming back if this is played? Going here maybe? Because the thing is, we've got this checkmate in 1 threat. As long as we don't get into a perpetual or a checkmate, I think we should be quite happy. And potentially just winning. This is a massive threat as well. We can just win material with a check and come back for another check. And well, our opponent here is... I think this is the only move that tries to do anything. And if we just come back, disallow the queen from checking us, allow this, but not allow this to be a check for us or on us, against us, then in this position there is no check. Ooh, there is this. Oh no, there is not, because of this move. So never mind, I think we're probably winning here. As long as, of course, I did not miss a move, which I've done quite a few times. You guys know by now. But hopefully not. Not today, I don't hope. So maybe we just managed to clutch a win in what could have been a lost game considering the time situation, but we got into this position here with 2 bishops and our opponent's open king in the endgame, which I think was a good position and conversion to get considering especially the time situation. Oh, our opponent resigns. Okay, well, that's it then, I guess. So, thanks for the game. Well played to our opponent. They gave us a run for our money today, as I typically say, but this was definitely the case here. They played well and they played quickly. We had 2 mistakes and a blunder. I see our opponent lost more ELO than we won, which means their ELO might not be fully stabilized, which means either they haven't played in a long time, or alternatively the account might be a bit newer and the rating is kind of finding out or figuring out where the player is at. Anyways, let's jump on ahead here and have a look. For the accuracy, so 64 and 54. Okay, so that's how it's going to be today, Stockfish. I see. 800 and 1050 for the game ratings. We got a brilliant move though, and so did our opponent. Oh, that's definitely thumbnail material. This is going to be the clickbait. Brilliant games, or brilliant moves for both of the players. Yeah, that's what we like. Let's just go ahead here and have a look. We got into a Sicilian Najdorf by this move order, played this, which is quite normal. Our opponent here played an inaccuracy, which is still theory, but it's just simply not a good move. This just does not play into what our opponent wants to do here in the position. This is already blunted, for instance, and we can come here with tempo now. So we just developed normally here. Got this and didn't quite utilize our advantage. Should have went here instead. But still, we do end up with a good position here, and I think, yeah, this move being played is what made this knight maneuver better than maneuver here, which was recommended by the engine on the previous move, because now this comes with the threat here of forking the bishop and the queen. Apparently it's not even the best move here after this move here by our opponent. This was bad. I kind of guess we figured out at some point here this queen got a bit too displaced. This move was bad, but it got scary. Definitely. Should have went here once again. Then what does the engine recommend? Coming back, and apparently we just break the position apart here. I didn't quite see this. It's quite equivalent to this move, I guess, in terms of evaluation, but this was bad. I got afraid here, I think, of this, and the thing is, I really hate it when stuff opens up like this. It feels like we're just in a cage here, and they move like this, or like, let's say this, for example, and we get forced out, and we could just, at the very worst, or best even, I don't know, have a perpetual, is what I thought. And I don't want to play for draws, so I didn't want the option here of there might be being some perpetual against our king, while it's also exposed. Our opponent didn't castle, which was apparently the best move there, pushed this, which was bad, an overreaction as I called it in the game. Our opponent should have taken, they didn't, and I think we got to stabilize by doing this, but once again, apparently this move is just really good. And I can't easily tell why, I don't think. I guess, let's say we go here and our opponent goes to this square. Why is this so good? Why is this so good? Is there ever this move? And if we take, do we win a pawn? Apparently this is just a draw even, so shouldn't even be considered according to the engine, but that looks good, at least practically speaking. It's not the move though. Our opponent castles into our attack here. Jumping in was not the correct move. The engine here just screamed for b4 to be played for a long time, and honestly in this position I can see it easily, because this displaces the knight here and we can go after the castle king by means of capturing on a2. Or so I'd say here, but in the game I mentioned this, but there is this, which I didn't quite consider at the time, but this does break apart some stuff and we get activity. This was played though. The queen did slide over, but not to the correct square. We went here. Once again, there is this. I think it's been recommended for something like 15 moves, I guess, maybe 10, but at least a lot of moves. This was good. Now this became a threat. We went up. Apparently we could have went back here to defend like this. Didn't quite see it. The bishop jumped in. This was bad. I guess it's called backward progress by the engine. I didn't quite see it, but I thought this looked a bit awkward for our queen. We might want to team up, might want to defend some stuff. This is good, I guess. It's a bit difficult to see in advance, but I guess it does prevent this from being lost in some later positions. This was played. We pushed the pawn, which was just... the engine hated it. Why was this good, though? I feel like this is just the kind of position when you calculate it and rather go through the engine here, the analysis. Most of this stuff I don't even understand. This is really difficult to tell. Oh, you guys can't see this, but... okay, can I extend this? No, I can't. Oh, that's unfortunate. The thing is here, when I look down at the moves, let me try and move my camera here actually. This is really funny. I have to switch back to a big face here, but bear with me for a second. As I come back here and look at the moves. Look at the moves here. They're just... there are a million colors and it's all bad. It's all bad except, or save, one move here and one move here, which I see are brilliant moves coming. I'll be switching back quickly here to just get the camera back in position. Might fine tune it later on, but this is probably okay. let's go back into the game here and have a look at how this developed. We got into this. Should have taken the bishop apparently. I didn't quite see what happened here, but oh, there is this move, which is deemed good by the engine. I didn't quite see this, but if I had, I think I would have been able to consider this as better, because this just opens up in our favor, and the pawn here looks strong, difficult to win. The knight looks strong because of it, and there is the diagonal as well, which opened up. Situation here was not ideal. We just let me just go through the moves here one by one, because honestly they are so difficult, each and every move here in this game. This and this was good for us because of the we can just take with the pawn. I didn't see it. For some reason I thought, oh, this just loses the knight because of this. No, it doesn't. So let's say our opponent goes here, I guess. Then, but we don't immediately win material still either, because, well, the queen moves. But apparently this positioning here is good. It looks a bit scary still though. This is brilliant by our opponent. We should have not taken. The computer hates this for us. We should have apparently just went for this in-between move. Don't ask me why, but we can try and follow the line quickly. Why can't we take still? Apparently this is just bad, and oh, it's because of the bishop. Okay, I see, because once this opens up now, the bishop and the queen has really good threats together, or they do have really good threats together. Should have not taken then, but I think it's still kind of difficult to tell here why this is as bad as it is. Let's say we went here, for instance. Oh, there is this, and apparently our opponent just comes a bit quicker than we do, and we can't defend because of this bishop once again. This and this is a move, and there is just a checkmate. Didn't see it, neither did our opponent. They should have traded queens here. We got into this position. Luckily, I'm really glad to have spotted this move with our limited time here. That's definitely nice. Went here with the queen. This was captured, and this was kind of a last-ditch effort to some degree, but we got 14 seconds here. The position is really complicated, and yeah, we want to simplify, and we did so. I'm really glad this worked out. I didn't fully calculate it, went a bit by instinct here and gut feeling, but it worked out. Honestly, I didn't even have time to calculate here whether we had more pieces or not at the end. I was a bit surprised even, I have to say. It's a bit awkward, or a bit embarrassing to mention. I got surprised after the trading or simplification here, as I didn't know we were going to have two bishops for a rook. It just kind of happened, and it worked out like this, and yeah, this was not the best move. Apparently this... Oh wow, that's the maneuver. That's a bit quicker, definitely. This is difficult to protect. It wasn't played though. We went here, and this wasn't the best move either. Our opponent should have went here and accepted the loss of material, after which they would have likely lost because of our advantage. If they went here, tried to go for something more concrete here, taking stuff. We went here, and this wasn't the best. I thought this looked good, but apparently this allows for this move. Oh, that's not good, so let's go say we go here, and at least the queen has to sacrifice itself, but it's still a win here for us, so that's good. 1559, I think this is a new high, all-time high for us. We've been climbing a bit as of late, which has been really nice. Once again, thanks to S. Ayata here from Turkey for a nice game. Thanks for watching to the end of the video, guys. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your days, and I hope to see you all tomorrow. Bye bye.